Guys, welcome back to the second ever Brick Bites podcast. The first one did actually really amazing, a lot better than I thought it would, and we are actually booked out into February with guests, which is absolutely amazing. But I'm back today. It's me, the Lego Brick, and I've got Ark, the co-host.
What up, guys? What's going on?
And then, like I said, we have a ton of guests, so for the next 3 or 4 months, just get excited for all these guests, just like today's guest. Super excited to bring on, I think he started Instagram in April and has 330 followers. Please welcome Bricks to the Bone. Woo!
Yay. Enthusiasm.
So is that correct? BTB, did you started in April of this year? Is that correct?
It might have been like January or some of the earlier months. I'm not sure.
Okay, so a little bit earlier than that. Yeah. So, why did you start? Did you just decide one day you're just like, I'm gonna start a Lego Instagram account because that sounds fun, or was this what made you start?
Yeah, it was pretty much like I just wanted to because I had a ton of Lego and stuff like that.
I feel that that's pretty much why I started. And then your first post, was it a purist custom? I think, right?
Yeah, it was. I forgot what it was. That was like 6 months ago or so.
So, what Bricks? If you've never seen BTB or have checked out his Instagram, which you definitely should, Bricks to the Bone.
Yeah, okay.
You do a lot of purist customs, right? That's kind of That's kind of your thing. So I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about like I've never done purist customs. Ark, have you ever really gotten into purist customs?
I mean, I've made them on my own time, but I've never posted them, so I don't feel like they're good enough. But yeah, what's the process of you making one or a character? I have a bunch of base plates with characters on them, or minifigs, and then I just go through and look for pieces, and I have a bunch of sorting things with arms and legs and stuff like that, and I just look through it and see what goes well together.
So do you just pick I don't know, you're watching the Mandalorian season 2 first episode, which was amazing, by the way.
Yes, it was pretty good.
Maybe we should talk about that later in the podcast. But if you're watching something like that and you want to make, spoiler, Cobb Bath or someone else or just any when do you decide, oh, I want to make that character, and then how do you go about making it? You just put the pieces together, I guess? I don't know.
Yeah, I just look at it and I'm like, oh, that'd be a good post for today, and then I just get some minifigs and then look for a Mandalorian part and stuff like that to see what goes together.
So then, when what would you say you make the most purist customs of, or what's your favorite theme or type of purist custom to make?
It's mainly Star Wars or Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, looking through your account, you have a lot of Marvel and Star Wars, and it seems that what's this with your own universe thing? What's that? There's a ton of accounts that have their own universe, and they basically take a figure like Robin, for instance, and then just change them and then make it its own character, a different universe style of Robin. Oh, okay, gotcha.
So, do you then have your own universe, and what characters are in your universe?
Yeah, it's called the Bonesverse. There's a hashtag for it, and there's all kinds of stuff in it. I forgot what all the characters are.
That's super cool. See, I've never really seen anything like that. So, would you, when you have characters like this, are the characters that go into your universe all purist customs that you make on your own, or are any of them an addition, a new Star Wars Jedi or something like that?
It's all purist customs that I make on my own, basically.
And they don't have a ton of ties to if they're do you make a Marvel character that could go in the Marvel universe, but it's in your universe, or like how does that work exactly?
Um, I think there's one or two that I created my own character for, but many of the characters are based off of other characters like Batman or Captain Marvel or Iron Man or stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's super cool. I've never really made my own Pierce customs, so I don't know. And then the other thing when I was big fan of your account, but you're also really into Funko Pops too, right?
Yeah, my most liked post at the moment is currently Funko Pops, which was surprising for me.
No, I was just gonna say that's super interesting. That it's like a Lego account, but I do think there's a lot of ties between like the Funko Pop world and the
Yeah,
Lego world.
definitely.
Yeah.
And then, like, what do you say you collect more or you're more into? Funko Pops or Lego?
Definitely Lego. I have a lot more Lego than Funko Pops for sure.
So,
Yeah, gotcha.
gotcha. Yeah, that's super cool. But do you like you have a lot of Star Wars Legos, and then if I'm correct, you have a lot of Star Wars Funko Pops too, right? So is there some crossover between the like type of Lego sets you get and the type of Funko Pops you get?
Probably the Funko Pops I get are basically just the ones that I recognize and are cheap, and then Lego I go out of my way to get sets like the Kessel Run Millennium Falcon and then the new Helicarrier and stuff like that.
Oh, those are some good sets. Those I'm excited.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of that, actually, Mad Dog asked, he wanted to know your opinions on the new Marvel leaks, and I wasn't quite sure what he was referring to, but I think I believe if I saw correctly, there's like a new Miles Morales character that was leaked, and there might be a couple of their sets and stuff that was leaked. I don't know too much about that. Do you guys know, or Bricks, do you know, and what are your thoughts on them at all?
I see. I glanced at a picture, but I haven't really paid that much attention to it. And but yeah, I'd like to get a Miles Morales character.
Yeah, when I remember seeing the Miles Morales figure, that was one of the highest quality and cleanest leak images for a Lego figure I think I've ever seen. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then we also had so both Lego Shawarma and J Joma bricks. They wanted to know what is your favorite theme?
My favorite theme, it would probably have to be Marvel. I'd say the Marvel set.
So would you say that like because within Marvel there's I don't know there's a lot of different
Subsection.
yeah
Yeah.
exactly what I was gonna say or like kind of sub themes as well, you know?
My favorite like sub theme of Marvel would be the Infinity War set.
Really?
Yeah, I got all those back when they came out, and they're my favorite for sure.
Yeah, because that actually kind of surprised me because I remember like I'm not really even big into Marvel, but when those came out, I remember people being disappointed because some of them were inaccurate or because they didn't want to show spoilers. They like missed out on like key features and key minifigures.
Yeah, but like my favorite out of those lines, or the line of Infinity War sets, is the Doctor Strange set, like his house, and then
Yeah.
Milano. And I
Yeah,
just like how the Milano and that other set with Thor like go together and make the full Milano. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that like actually I was really close to getting the Milan because it's such a nice set. Like even I'm not a big Marvel fan, but just as like actual good Lego set, it looks super good. And then the way it ties up with other ones, it reminded me of the Ghost and the Phantom from Star Wars Rebels, and I have like a lot of nostalgia for those sets.
Yeah. I think that set is really super cool. I think sometimes I would agree with you on the Infinity Wars thing. There sometimes Marvel isn't the most accurate. I feel like sometimes the Marvel sets, this I feel like sometimes the Marvel sets are geared towards a younger audience, where like the Star Wars sets
Definitely. Yeah.
or other sets they definitely are geared towards a little bit older of an audience, but sometimes I'm a little disappointed in the Marvel when you really want a set and it's a little bit too young, which I think is interesting. But Bricks, is there like a Marvel set that you own that is just your favorite that you just think is like the best Marvel set?
Um, I'd have to say that I own would be the Doctor Strange um, Sanctum Sanctorum. That's what it is. Couldn't remember the name.
Yeah, I really like the set because it like goes in so well with like other what's it called, modular sets. Just looks so clean. Like I've seen posts on Instagram where they connect them. And then talking about modular, for like most of your posts, you seem to have like a little like city going on. Can you like tell us about that? Like how many sets do you have in that?
Well, there's the modular bank. There's the Lego Store exclusive Lego Store, the Sanctum Sanctorum, and then just a bunch of minifigure plates going down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is, yeah, because I think when most people think of you, BTB, they think of the very iconic, is it the Lego store with like a Ghostbusters character?
The Ghostbusters character.
Yeah, the Mr. Staples.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah, he's been there since I switched from the clear white background to the city.
And so when you're the it's not just the background too, but there's you have Lego tiles, right? How big are those Lego tiles? Like how many Lego tiles are we not seeing in the pictures? That pretty much all the Lego tiles.
I don't know. There's quite a few. It's 3 rows and of about like 10, I'd say. 10.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
Oh wow.
30.
Yeah, so that is quite a bit of those that's not in the picture. So those come from the minifigure series, obviously. What minifigure series do you think would be your top minifigure series?
I'd have to say the first Harry Potter series. I just liked all the like new pieces, new molds, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I love the Harry Potter series. And then I think Brick should talk a little bit more on that because he's a lot more educated on the Clone Wars. But I was going to say the rumors about the Clone Wars collectible minifigure series. What are your thoughts on that one?
I would really like that series to come in, like to get new Ahsoka, new Obi-Wan, new Anakin, probably Padme, and just like Cat Bane and figures like that we haven't really gotten many of. I know we've gotten a lot of Anakins and Obi-Wans and a couple of Ahsokas, but to just get a new molds and stuff like that would be great.
I feel like, because honestly, like I mean the leaks, well not the leaks, but like the rumors were of just general Star Wars CMS series, but like, what do you guys think of like if it was just a general Star Wars but not Clone Wars? Do you think it would like it less or more?
I think it'd be kind of the same. I think it'd have a more general variety of figures than the Clone Wars, and
Yeah.
I think that hopefully it includes some from like Clone Wars and Rebels, and along with the original trilogy and the sequels and prequels.
Yeah, definitely.
So you wouldn't want it to be like necessarily like a Clone Wars exclusive. You would want it to just be like a Star Wars collectible minifigure series.
I don't know. I could go either way. Either one would be great. Just to get a Star Wars in general series or a Clone Wars one.
Yeah, no, that definitely would be super good. So, but you said your favorite theme was Marvel. So, do you think is there any chance that you think there would be a Marvel collectible minifigure series?
I don't know. I don't think that the chance is necessarily big. Maybe in like a couple of years, maybe 10 years or so, they might do one. But I don't know if they'll do one right away because I don't know.
Why don't you go ahead, Ark?
I mean, I would actually think that if they were to make a Star Wars one, they would also make a Marvel one, because the reason why they can't have CMS right now is because of the deal with Hasbro that makes action figures. Yeah. Now that since they revised it, I don't know if it was only for Disney Star Wars, because Hasbro also owns Marvel Legends, which makes all the Marvel action figures basically. So I would think that if they were to release a Star Wars one, eventually there would definitely be a Marvel one.
Yeah, probably. Eventually, but not right away. Like they space them out, like do maybe Star Wars like 1 year, and then a couple years later do a Marvel, and then maybe come back to Star Wars a couple years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting because I didn't realize that was the reason they could do it arc, because I was wondering why, obviously right now Star Wars is very, very hyped with the Mandalorian, and then the season 7 of Clone Wars. So Star Wars is very much top of the list right now. But Marvel, I feel like it's kind of, there's Black Widow movie, a couple other stuff, but I feel like Endgame was that real point. And if they'd come out with a collectible minifigure series during Endgame, I feel like that would have been kind of the high point for that.
Yeah, if they did it, like if they released an in-game Marvel series, the CMF series, I feel like that would have been the time where it would have been most profitable for that girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, because maybe I would feel like if they were to do like an anniversary line, like they've done, for example, for like Star Wars with the like OG figures that they did last year. Yeah. I feel like we could do one for maybe the MCU eventually. Yeah. I'm not sure, but
we definitely have some like Iron Man figures, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also, I just wanted to really quickly, so over my Instagram, there's a couple more questions that some people dropped. I did a quick just Instagram story asking people for questions that they wanted to ask Bricks the Bone. So if anyone listening wants to ask questions for future guests, make sure that you do go over to my Instagram at LegoBrick122, plug there. But I just wanted to quickly shout out 2 people, kind of in the sort of the middle of this episode, who so Galaxy Pony 28, he just said, have fun with the podcast. So thank you for that. And then also, Republic Studs said, darn, I want in. And so maybe a little hint, I don't know, but just make sure you stay tuned for future episodes. Really excited for that. But then, next question I have, and this person just wanted to remain anonymous, but they just said, if you could bring back one Lego theme, what would it be?
The Clone Wars, like general theme.
Really?
Yeah, because I missed out on a lot of those sets because they didn't sell them where I live. And then that would just be great to be able to get all the ships and like Mandalorian packs and battle packs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that that's kind of under the Star Wars thing, but yeah, I would love for another like, I would say the best way they could do it would be like a best of the Clone Wars, and release like the best ships, and like maybe like some of like the more iconic scenes that can make it into sets, because for example, like the season 4 and season 5 is like right before the show was like in talks of getting canceled, so I don't know if Lego just pulled the plug on them, but yeah, I definitely agree that'd be a top one.
But yeah, maybe like maybe they'd release it at like a 10-year anniversary for the Clone Wars.
Yeah. And then, like we said earlier, updated fakes of, Clone Wars Obi-Wan and Anakin and young Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And then that was really good. But I was also, so I was wondering, versus when you do like your when you do your purist customs, I know I'm going back to the purist customs thing, but when you do your purist customs, what do you keep them, or do you like, I don't know, like what do you do with them once you've like taken a picture of them?
Well, that's a funny story actually. Yes and no. No, I take them apart. Yes, in the fact that I don't take them apart for months. So my entire table is just like filled with bits and pieces of minifigs that I just haven't had the time or I'm too lazy to put back together.
That's super interesting. I
Yeah.
I definitely know that my table is filled. Actually, this is a good question. Right now I have a couple sets just sitting on the shelves. I actually just got the Elf Winter Village, which I'm super super excited to build. But I have the 501st Battle Pack, and I haven't built it, and I have a couple other sets like that I just have sitting on the shelves. And so this podcast is really made for people that are like trying to like build Legos or something, just listening to something while they build Legos. So if someone listening isn't building Legos right now, and they're gonna go maybe open one of those Lego sets they have sitting there. So if you Bricks were listening to this podcast and you wanted to go build a Lego set, do you have any Lego sets that you just have lying around, or would there be a set that you would like run to your local Target or Walmart or something to grab, or what would you build?
I basically have all my sets filled except for like a couple bags because I moved recently, but like the other sets are just poly bags I'm keeping and like one microfighter. But I would most likely pick up my Purist customs and clean my table while listening to the podcast.
I mean, I'm just like VTV. Like, anytime I get a set, I build it almost instantly. I think
me too.
The most time I went without building a set was probably like a day, but it was because I physically couldn't because I was in the car. So like, besides that, I always build them. And then I mean, I would say if you're listening to this podcast, just do something Lego related, or if you're one of those clone decalers out there, listen to this while you decal your clone.
And then all of a sudden we can put in like a loudspeaker and like freak them out and make them mess up.
Yeah.
Do you I know Arc makes a lot of mocks and some really cool mocks actually, but have you Bricks or BTB, have you ever made any mocks at all, or is that not really your thing?
I've made a couple, but I had to leave like most of my bits and pieces, like loose Lego, back in Panama when I moved, and I don't have that, like, other than sets, I don't really have that many pieces here, so I can't really. But yeah, I've made a few mocks and like a while back.
Oh, and then actually that's really interesting that you bring it up, because I was like distribution in like other countries. Because for example, talking to like cousins or like friends in other countries, it's like vastly different. Like I know that people in like Germany and Japan have kind of an easy time, but like people in like South America and like Mexico, some of my cousins have told me that sets are either overpriced or like never drop below retail value, or they can't even find them in most stores.
Well, in Panama, there's certain stores, like in the Panama City, like the capital, there's 2 Lego stores. There was one for the longest time, and they just recently built one. And now there's a ton of stores that sell it, and like some only sell like either poly bags or some CMFs, maybe a couple brickheads. But I got my Castle Run Millennium Falcon for below price in Panama. But yes, most of them are above retail value all the time.
I've never. That's interesting that they're above retail. Yeah, I didn't realize that you lived in Panama. That's super cool. I know that like it's so weird, like across countries, how different Lego sets get distributed, and it's interesting sometimes when, even though the Lego sets are obviously made in Germany, the U.S. will sometimes get Lego sets before European countries, just because we're such a big market, and I think that's super super interesting that they do that sometimes.
Yeah, and then I feel like some countries just have like a bigger audience. Like I feel like some countries, aren't much into toys or all that, so they'll not get as much shipments as, for example, the U.S., which has a large base of customers and consumers.
Yeah.
So, Bricks, I don't know if this was, I know you said you moved, so I don't know if this is your old house, or where you currently live, but I know you have a post, and it's kind of a nice setup of all your ships. They're hanging from different shelves. It looks super cool. That is actually a full Lego setup that you posted. I really like it. Is that set up in your closet, I believe?
Yes, in this current house that I'm in, I'm staring at it right now.
That is so cool. I think that that's actually a really smart way to have Legos organized. So, you know, I think organizing Legos is one of the toughest things. I don't know. I just always think it's so hard to figure out the right way to put your Legos so that they all get seen at the maximum potential or whatever. But what do you like? How do you decide which ships you're going to hang up, or how do you decide where you're going to put different stuff in your closet, and why your closet? Because I don't think that's something that people usually associate. My closet is going to be my Lego room type thing, you know?
Yeah, well, with the ship thing, it's basically just the ships that can be hung up without toppling over and breaking. Like, I wouldn't hang my X-Wing or Millennium Falcon because I just don't want to wake up one morning and then it's just on the floor with pieces everywhere. And with the closet, it's just out of the way. Like, there's not anywhere else in my room, basically. Like, I have a bookshelf, but it's got books and, like, DVDs on it and stuff. And there's not really any other place, so the closet was, like, the best place for my Lego collection to just sit.
So I gotta ask, Bricks, real fast. Where do you keep your clothes then?
I have a dresser.
That works pretty well then. That's actually that's a smart setup. I commend you on that. It definitely looks awesome. And then, did you have a question, Ark?
Yeah, like, how did, like, what time, like, did you use string, or, like, what did you use? I'm looking at the post now, and, like, I remember as a kid, I tried to do that with, like, tape or something, and then the ship just fell immediately and broke. So, like, how did you make it look so good, and then, like, also, like, reliable, so you don't fall down?
It's just like fishing wire, and I have.
Oh, interesting.
There's like 2 or 3 lines on Anakin's ship and the Phantom. Wait, yeah, the Phantom, and then there's one on the 2 like polybag ships.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I had heard, like, people use, like, wires or, like, it's like really strong rope, but, like, I'd never heard of fishing line.
Yeah, that is.
Do you have anything else?
I had, okay, let me see. There was one more question. Shoot, Alice for a second. Oh, okay. So, he asked, he said, I really liked your Halloween post, with the skeletons. What inspired you to make that one?
Well, I just wanted, like, I was gonna do a Halloween post. I haven't posted in a while because I'm taking a break, but the Halloween post, it was just like I thought of the Halloween and the skeletons, and then I just got some of the figures that died in movies and different stuff like that, and just like gave them different skeleton heads from either just like regular skeletons or like Ninjago and stuff like that.
I think it's a pretty cool post.
Yeah, very creative.
Yeah. And then I have one last question. And then I think we can probably wrap things up unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about. But I was just gonna ask. I know you're a little bit more into figures than sets, if I'm correct in saying that. But do you think that overall you enjoy buying complete sets more, or do you enjoy buying just individual figures from like Instagram or eBay or that kind of stuff? And which one do you do more often?
Well, I had a ton of sets in Panama. Like, my entire room was just Lego. But then here, I brought as many sets as I could, and I brought all my figures. So yeah, I'd say I'd prefer buying like the full set, like either at Walmart or different places like that.
And then between the two, would you say you like CMS more or sets?
I'm gonna say sets.
Still sets?
Yeah.
That's fair. Well, we're about 35 minutes on this podcast, which I think is pretty reasonable. I think this was a really good episode. Definitely a lot better that we had than just me and Ark talking. It was great to have a guest on. It was super, super good talking to Bricks. I hope that everyone listening enjoyed this episode. Bricks and Ark, do you guys want to plug your stuff?
Okay. Well, I'm Bricks to the Bone on Instagram. You can follow me and like on my posts, or I'll show up in your house. And just like have a good time looking at my posts. And this was really fun.
I would just say, Ark101 Bricks on Instagram. Follow Shocklug, which is a lug that I'm in. We're gonna have a collab tomorrow, and I don't know, Little Bricks YouTube channel, or I'll kill you. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I actually think this was super, super fun. Thank you so much, Bricks, for being on. We're gonna have some awesome more guests all throughout the next couple months, hopefully going way into the future. New episodes every single Saturday. I love the support from you guys. If you follow me, the Lego Brick 122 on Instagram, then you can kind of be a little bit more interactive. And we actually started, we're recording today on a Brick Bites podcast Discord that Ark101 set up, a Discord server, which I think is super fun. Excited about that. So yeah, make sure you connect with us on all of our socials and leave some comments down below who you want to see for future guests and any questions that you want us to discuss on the podcast. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much. I know I keep saying this, but it was really awesome to have you on, Bricks. We definitely need to get you on again.